All right, let's see if we're set up for streaming here. Okay. Cool. Okay, so the streaming is working. Excellent. So what we're going to take a look at today is we're going to see how far we can get in the MCPS HSF competition, and hopefully I remember how everything works here. So let's see, I'm going to log in. If you don't have an account, you can register. So what is this? So this competition, we ran this last week, I believe. Yeah, I think last Tuesday. Last Tuesday is when we ran it. And we had over 200 students come to Montgomery College. And it was incredible. We've been running this for 7 years, and it is an NCIS style cyber forensics investigation. So since we've already ran it, I can show you this, but this is sort of like what the competitors got to look at. So they started off with this Twitter clone here, and from there they had to pivot into all this different evidence. Now, the top team only got to, I think, 15 of these. So each one of these represents like a challenge, an individual challenge that someone has to solve. So as you can see, there's a ton in here, and the goal is to try to figure out who committed the murder and then write a report justifying who did it. So what I wanted to walk through was sort of like what we expected people to be looking at when confronted with this evidence, right? Like, how do you actually draw a conclusion? So very first thing here, right, we're reading description, and then from there we go to this challenge. So it's also been a week since I've looked at this, so it's possible that things are down. So we'll also be simultaneously debugging if there is a need for that. So we're starting off with this website. We have this username and this password. So I'm going to go over here, and then immediately once we go there, we see this flag. Now, there is also a wiki here. So if we go to wiki.ctfg.io, this will tell you like all the introductory things you need to know for playing the CTF, as well as different tools you might need along the way. So you can click through and get an understanding of what to expect for the different challenges here. But the first thing we want to do, if we were to read the instructions, is anytime you see something like this, where it says flag, brackets, something, you're going to copy that, and we're going to go to our site, and we're going to enter that in as evidence. And we're going to say, yes, we are submitting a flag. So when we submit that, you see a node here, and this node is going to be the start of our evidence graph, which will eventually, right, as we progress, start to look like the actual evidence graph where all the challenges are. So cool. We only have one evidence right now, so we're not looking at this connecting of evidence yet, but we at least know we're starting here. Cool, we're on Tweepy. So, right, we also have our username and password we have to enter to log in. Cool, so I'm logged in. I'll save it. And once I'm logged in, I'm looking at a Twitter conversation. And what we expect people to do is, people competing, right, is look through all of these things, right? Like what has been said, when has it been said, and documenting everything that they find relevant. So I have taken notes about this before, and I'm not going to go into great detail here, but what I might start doing is I'll read these messages and see, okay, cool. Chance got a metamorphic ring in Hearthrock. I love this game. It rocks. Might cook up some latkes to celebrate. And Corncob replies, nice job. What's your favorite rock to play as? I like Pyrite. Pyrite sucks. Topaz or die. Long, Conundrum, 4L, at Chance. Let's play right now. If I win, you make me latkes. So the conversation's ridiculous, but what it is doing, it's building a world. There's a story being told here, and there's different people that are talking to each other. And so in this case, right, Chance is talking to Corncob, and then make me latkes too. That's so cool. Congrats. Can't wait. you ever stream? Bruh, Chance, don't you have work to be doing? Lotka cartels are literally falling apart right now. Honestly, not my problem. That's what you're here for, corn cob. ... So, right, there's maybe like some animosity that's being strummed up here between Chance and corn cob. Hey, Chance, does being in the Lotka cartel come with perks? Yeah, of course. You get free Lotkas anytime. Dang, I want to join, please. 0. Bruh. What? Why? This is straight up racist. So it also looks Long has some beef with corn cob, right? So yeah, you can read through all of this, and it's important. This is really important part of the story because, right, I might be starting to take notes of like, right, we have corn cob, or I guess maybe we have like notes here of like people involved. Who's involved? We have Long, corn cob. I think we saw Karsten there. We have Sada Mana. This is the person we logged in with. So if I logged into their account, I might say Tweepy credentials, and then whatever we use to log in. But anyway, I'm not going to go into super detail about the story and stuff like that. What I wanted to do was sort of show what it is, like the sort of flow of going through this sort of thing. So when we haven't really come across a challenge yet, but this is an interesting one. We do see an address there. Now, an address, phone number, right? Any sort of things that are like personal identifiable information in the tech world, right? We call this PII. That is important. That's sensitive data, and that sensitive data can be used to link someone to someplace, something. And so I'm going to take note of that type of information for sure. So under Karst, maybe like Tweepy, message, address, right? It doesn't have to be anything that big of a deal right now. We're just getting down our notes, right? We're trying to build a story. We're trying to draw connections. So when I see someone linking to another site, that's another thing that I like want to take note of, because it's like, what is this, right? Like, why did they link to this specific piece of information? And again, right now, I don't know what's really going on, but I might just make a note of that. So, and that's a new character that we have. Chance links to NYC or New York Times Lotka's recipe. I'll take a note of that. Cool. So here we go. This looks like it is. So Chance just has a new cooking blog. Again, something I might take note of, or I will take note of, and I'll go there and check out what's going on over there. So we have some blog posts in there. And again, looks like we have another link going somewhere else. So I'm going to open that up, and excellent, it's not found. Looks like it's broken. Excellent. So there's that. There is some information. Now this is where it starts to look interesting, and this is, if people are familiar with CTFs, something to consider. So it is an AES encryption algorithm, and there is some what looks like base64 text in there, and that is something I will definitely take a note of. So on, who's this? This is Chance's blog, and we have, maybe I'll just do the whole message here. And so yeah, that's something. They make a note of advanced encryption algorithm. So visit the HT230 lab with the secret code potatoes, get access to bike link. So this was a part of the physical challenge, right? So if you were to get to this point and go to the bike lock, that will have given you something. Again, I'm not entirely sure about this whole thing, because this was made by high school students. This was made by Poolsville high school students. And honestly, it's something that has grown beyond what I've sort of set up for people. But I do know something about cybersecurity, so I'm going to do my best to look through here. So this access log, I think, was interesting. And if we take a look at what that was, downloads access log. Right. So if you take a look at what's going on inside of here, this is an SQL injection attack that was being performed against this server, and an access log is the thing that's capturing all of the events, all of the HTTP requests that are being sent over to the server. So if you want to know how to solve this, all of this code is open source, and I have just released all of, let's see, CTFG ChalGen. So yeah, so if you go to CTFG ChalGen, you can go to competitions, and then MCPS HSF 2023, you go to challenges, and then this contains all of the challenges. So the one that I just pulled up here, the access log, this is under the challenge SQL log. So inside of there's chal.yaml, and that has the information that you were supposed to find, as well as the flag and what type of challenge it is. Now, to go to where that challenge is actually being generated, because this is just a config file, I'm going to go to ChalGen, and I'm going to go to chal types. I believe it is in templates. And then we have SQL. No, that's not there. Challenge environment. Nope. Web. Is there a web one? Yeah, there we go. SQL. Where'd that at? Networking. I don't think that should be under networking. I guess maybe. Forensics networking, of course. Forensics networking. Cool. So there's the SQL log challenge. This is how it was generated. You can see that there is, we have Docker containers that are running, and an actual SQL injection attack was used using SQL map. So we have this automated building process where we actually simulate an attack being run in a emulated environment, and we collect whatever the traffic is. So this is actually what an attacker would do, but what you're looking at is sort of the remnants, right? This is what a blue team at a company would be looking at when they're trying to figure out how did we get hacked. So from this information, you have to reverse it and come up with the original content. So again, I'm not going to go into I'm sure a lot of people that are going to watch this are going to want me to explain how all of these things were done. There's a lot of information in the code. If you have questions, I have my Discord channel, but I guess right now it's like white, so you can't actually see it. Let's see. Could I put this there you go. Maybe there. There you go. Yeah. I encourage you to join the Discord channel because I hang out there. If you have there's also a lot of smart people. If you have any questions about specific challenges, you can come and ask me. But anyways, yeah, we're just gonna keep going through this challenge. We're gonna see how far we get. So, looking at latkes. Right, that's the introduction post. I think we looked at all of this now, right? So we have this challenge. And what's also really cool, what I really like, and how I play this type of competition is you might have someone that's going through trying to solve individual challenges, while concurrently you could have someone that's doing what I'm doing right now. And both are equally as valuable in this competition because, again, at the end of the day, there's a write-up, right? This site where we're entering in our flags is not going to be the thing that wins you points, right? There's no points. And actually, funny, not funny, the database where all this stuff was being stored actually went down during the competition, which really stunk and was really annoying. But really, the whole point of this existing is so that we can sort of accelerate our grading process. because it takes a long time, because we actually do look through every single person's write-up. And this sort of helps us sort of sort out like who got far, because there's a lot of people that maybe only find one flag, and it's kind of hard to come up with a conclusive sort of decision with only one flag, unfortunately. So this helps sort the people that do well or have done well. But again, because there's a write-up, it's not the sole thing that is actually going to win this competition for you. So there's a lot of exploration that goes into this. And right now, I'm just clicking through things. I'm not even considering the fact that there could be information hidden on this website, right? Because in this competition, right, there's things can be hidden anywhere. There's a lot of different places that they could be. So it's important to be, clicking around, gathering, taking better notes than I am right now, right? I've seen way more information than my notes capture. But anyway, let's see. So, right, that one's broken. That's okay. Which one was that? So that one that's broken is a DocX challenge, which we go through this blog, DocX carving. And again, we can pull that up and see if I can figure out how this works. Yeah, so challenges, DocX carving. So this one was a carving one, and you were like the DocX file would be downloaded. You would have to realize that the DocX file is actually a zip. It's a zip file, essentially. No, we don't have that one in there. But carving, do we have carving? No, we don't have carving. Maybe that's a good page to add here, file carving. So in file carving, data can be embedded inside of different formats, different files. And so you're supposed to realize that a DocX file is actually a zip file, and you can extract the contents and look inside using literally just like a zip utility. If you're on Windows, you might have to change like the extension from docx to .zip and then extract it. But anyways, that was that challenge that's currently broken. So here's an easy one. And what we try to do is we try to throw in like easier things up front so that people that are new to this get, some time to actually spend on challenges. But we also want to make harder challenges. And I had a student, Luke, who did really well of making these harder challenges. I don't know if they're reflected in this graph. I think Mad Libs, that was a template injection. And I don't think the other challenge made it on there. But so with this challenge, I believe this is just simply a Caesar cipher. So if you were to go to here and read about this, I think, where do we mention CyberChef? Encryption, maybe? Yeah. So this isn't, so there's encoding is really the one that I want. So this is, I guess this one's like cryptographic information because it's like it is a Caesar cipher is what this is. So with CyberChef, we can input what we see, right? And we see it prints back out, but we don't want to transform that somehow, some way. So there's a bunch of utilities over here on the left. And the one that I'm looking for is ROT13. And right, I've made this challenge, so like I know how it works. And with, there you go, that's easy. So with ROT13, it's, there's so many, I don't need to explain this. There's so many videos out there. Again, join the Discord if you have specific questions, but we can cycle through this number and we see when we get to 16, we actually see the flag. And so we can take that and put that again into our site here. Bada bing, bada boom, Twitter/Caesar. Now, what's interesting is that we found the Caesar cipher from Twitter. So we can make a connection between Twitter and Caesar cipher, boom, submit it. There's this bug where this map or this graph gets like reformatted every time you hit like submit. Still haven't figured it out. If you would like to, everything's open source. I am greatly accepting code donations and fixes if you can figure that one out. But anyway, there you go. There's our connection. That is how the evidence is connected to each other. Taking a screenshot of this and putting it into your report is a great idea. That is something that we would love to see. People didn't really do that this much this time, but something that I'll make sure next year to tell people about, because it's really helpful. It's really helpful in forensics investigation to know how you literally connected the dots together. So that's one challenge. What else we got? We got this challenge. I think this one is the single byte XOR. So you can put that in. Again, not doing the best job demonstrating how to take notes about this, but that is okay. So I think we can use, let's just put an XOR. No, let's just do brute force. XOR brute force, key length 1. And we run it. So now in here, these are all the possible combinations of cycling through an XOR key that is 1 byte in length and using that across all data. So we're going through here and we see that the data kind of takes on two different forms, or different forms as we go. Do I need to do, I think I needed to do like hex decoding first from hex. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So this data format is first hex. You can't just do an XOR on hex because, right, each one of these bytes, or each one of these characters is a byte in itself. So doing this initial hex pass with CyberChef will connect these two together to represent like a single byte. And because we use hex because of it being easy to send data across and pass it in like ASCII versus like the raw byte data. So that's why we see it as hex, but we need to transform that from hex to an internal byte representation, which is then XORed with a key of length 1 so that we get our flag. And it's always so funny to me because as I explain it, it's actually quite difficult to do this. So if you manage to solve any one of these challenges, you should be really proud. Like, they are not easy challenges. I used to teach a class at NYU, and NYU was across the street from the Secret Service. And so we would have, and we called this class Hack Night. It was actually a student-run class that happened every Wednesday for 2 hours, and we'd talk about hacking. So people from the Secret Service, like people that actually worked at the Secret Service, would come over and learn about stuff like this. Like, CyberChef is written by I believe, what is it, like an intelligence agency of like Britain or something like that. Like, this is like a big deal. Like, people use this legitimately for their job. So yeah, it's really cool. That's my only point with that. So cool. We're going to connect that evidence together. Again, this annoying reformatting. There you go. What else we got? We got this, which kind of looks like base 64 data. Get rid of those. From base 64. Boom, that was easy. So this one's interesting. It's not just a flag. That previous challenge had some more text, didn't it? Always take notes. Always, anything that you do, take notes on. Right now I'm doing a poor example of this because I'm just entering in the flags. But yeah, you want to take notes of what's actually going on here. So username and parse, your username and password, really important. That is coming from who posted that one? That was Karst. Karst posted his username and password, base 64 decode. And then there is also that flag. I want to make note of that flag. And you might be looking at the notes that I'm taking and being like, well, Chris, you're not showing such a great example of capturing all the information you're seeing. And to that, I'd say you're absolutely right. I am doing a poor job. And I hope you see that I'm doing a poor job. But that's why it's helpful to have people with different skills on your team, because my attention span is nowhere as good as another friend that we had on our cyber team in high school. who would just crush it. Like there was nothing that could get by them. They were just always collecting and documenting all this information. So there's this really great push and pull where me and our other teammate would go and just do our craziest thing, and then this other person would come and just collect all of the evidence, and they would always have the right answer. So having that synergy is really important on your team. So they're somewhere on this website, though. Here's your clue. Don't you just love robots? So this one, Corncob's sus website, if you go to robots.txt, there you can see the flag. So what's interesting about this challenge is that it requires sort of specific knowledge of what robots.txt is. Now, it's kind of become like a meme it's like a meme in a CTF where it's just like, yeah, like that it's there. But there's a real reason that this exists, and robots.txt you can view on pretty much any website. So you go to google.com and they have a robots.txt. And the whole point of this existing is to prevent web scrapers that are always scraping the web from crawling these specific pages. Now, obviously a robot does not have to listen to the fact that to disallow crawling maps reserve B, like they can go ahead and do that anyway, but it's there for the nice bots that are not trying to like ruin your website and be annoying. And that doesn't even exist. But this robots.txt can also be revealing at times. It might tell you other URLs on the website that were not immediately accessible. So a lot of really good web scrapers will include robots.txt when they're scraping to collect as much data as they can if they're trying to be, a nasty bot. So we have this, which comes from, I don't know, maybe we should just do another Tweepy here. Tweepy, who sent this one? This one is Corncob. Corncob site. And then he has this under robots.txt. Oh. So this is a username and password. We also have this other username and password. So I think in the message here, they actually say, here are my creds. You can literally look at my DMs. So I think those are in reference. So Karst credentials, which are these ones. So username Karst, password ESS for the win. So I'm going to grab that username and password. I'm going to sign out of our account here. We're going to go to Karst, username and password. Boom. And then they also mentioned that it was in their DMs. So we go over there. Karst is talking to Chance. Yo, Chance, what's up? Want to go out dinner on Friday? Sorry. I'm going to be playing Hearthrock. Aw, hey. Hello? Hey, Chance, where you at? Chance. Bro, are you okay? We miss you. Well, mainly me, but Chance, please come back. So there's totally a developing bromance between Karst and Chance here. So I'm going to make a note of that. So Chance, bromance with, wait, no. Karst. I don't know if Chance returns the sentiment there. Bromance with Chance. Cool. And then from there we have Facebook creds, which are these. Tweepy. And then we have Chance, or this is who's Karst's account. Username and password for Facebook. And I think there was a mention of Facebook, but I think it was on the other account that we have to go into. Yeah, there you go. First post. From Hubs. We don't even have Hubs documented, bruh. Hubs. Links to Facebook. Sure. Cool. So now we have this site, and then we also have a username and password from Karst. So Karst with a capital K, and then eddy currents is the password. Boom. So this one has a number of challenges in it. So the first one, viewer discretion is advised. Chance has been found dead. Let's make another thing in here. Facebook on it's like Facebook. Facebook has a post from the police. And that has this. I need to bring that up. Okay, so we're going to see under the hood of how this works because the thing is currently down. So we see that the challenge host, where I put all of these static files, is down. Why is that down? Oh, it says it doesn't exist. Why it doesn't exist, though? Why doesn't exist? Challenge host. Well, anyway, maybe we just we view the files over here. So anytime we see, so this is chance.jpg. Boom. There's Chance. He's dead. He got hit with a frying pan. I'll have to debug that later why that's not working, but Chance with a frying pan. We see who Chance looks like. This would be a great thing to take a note of. Post from the police. Sure, we'll just toss that in there. We also see over here, if we zoom in, there is something interesting. There is a fingerprint. Interesting. So I think you can take a screenshot of that fingerprint, and I'm going to save that to downloads. Then I can do asset. If you're interested in what note-taking thing I'm using here, this is Logsec, and I highly recommend it for taking notes. Logsec is fantastic. It has sync. It has like a mobile thing. And at the end of the day, it's just markdown files in a folder, which I really like the simplicity of. So highly recommend it for taking notes. But anyway, we see Chance got hit in the head with a frying pan, and there's a fingerprint. So guys, I just wanted to say that my boss is an awful human being. He doesn't do any of his work, so I do all the dirty work. And not gonna lie, I'm low-key glad he's gone. Here's his office. It's so gross. He left another party, and I'm here cleaning it up. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. And then a photo. It's edited photo.png. Wow, that is a messy desk. And also, what is the party? Oh, he just left for another party. Okay. So, Corncob. So, who is his boss? Also, another thing, too, is we can see who likes these posts, which is interesting, right? Because that's kind of motive. That could suggest motive of why, right? And especially in a post where there's animosity. So, Hubs was sad that Chance died. And Long liked this. So, we don't know who Corncob's boss is. So, we'll make a note here. Corncob angry about boss. Posts messy picture of office. Now let's see, which one was this? This challenge, if we're looking at it, edited photo. Chal host. And then I think if you ran strings on edited photo, grep flag. Yeah, there you go. So strings will take all of the data inside of an image and try to find ASCII printable characters, right? Strings of characters. And if you were to just run it by itself, it would print out a bunch of stuff. And actually, you didn't even need to grep. It's right there at the bottom. But when you ran that, you would see that flag was actually appended to the end of the file, and you can grab that and enter that in as your flag. Again, making the connection, or I guess there was no flag for Facebook, actually. We don't have a specific flag for that. So what you would need to do on the challenge site is, if you wanted to, you don't have to do this, but I would say I'm not submitting a flag, and I'm going to say Facebook. And when I do that, it's going to add this node here that isn't green because it's not a flag, but it signifies maybe something that I found important about the evidence. So I'm going to copy that flag, put it in there next time I am submitting a flag. And now I'm going to make a connection between Facebook and Open Image and Notepad, which I just ran strings. Oops.